Well, congrats to Central Florida. They made just enough plays to make it happen. Proud of I mean, we had a great start to the game. We're up 15-4, right? And then all of a sudden, I mean, we couldn't. It looked like we hadn't played offense for quite some time. But to get into the locker room only down one, I was actually really pleased with that because a lot of things didn't go right there the last, 12 minutes of the first half. Um, just couldn't find a way to get enough stops at the end of the day. And then, of course, it's a catch-22. It's amazing. I mean, we shoot 51.5% from the field, and it's not very often when you shoot over 50% that you lose a game. Um, um, at the same time, it's our offense with 19 turnovers. I mean, those are just really difficult things to come from to overcome. In particular, it's hard to overcome, period, but it's really hard to overcome on the road. And so it's like, how in the world did we even have a chance to win the game? In some respects. So our zone, I thought, slowed them down a little bit and gave us a little momentum down the stretch. But credit to them, they made the play. When it counted, and you get in the Big 12, such a high level of basketball, and there's always those moments. There's one or two, three possessions where you got to find a way to seize the moment, and made a couple mistakes on that last possession and weren't able to get the stop. So. They had some guys that really played well. I thought, number 52, the freshman, Chiam, 8 for 10 from the field, 4 offensive boards, 18 points. That's really good efficiency. And I thought Debo Coleman made a couple monster threes there in that second half that just kind of kept them at bay, so to speak, and just kept them in front enough. And Darius Johnson is a really good player. That three was monstrous. And then, of course, the last play. We did a good job as a whole on Keyshawn Hall. And we had some guys perform at a high level. But, our starters played, I thought, as a whole, our starting lineup played really well. We got 0 production out of our bench tonight. And our bench has been pretty good most of the year. But tonight, we got nothing. And so when you got on the road, man, you need everybody. And we just didn't have quite enough.
Coach just kind of talked about it. The fact you were in the game at the end, they had a double-digit lead with about 6 minutes to go. You guys battled back to have a chance in the final seconds. What did you like about your team in that span to get back in it?
Yeah, we had a good look to us. Like our guys, we stuck with it. Guys played with a lot of confidence. Our guys had really good voices in those timeouts and just kind of had a stick-to-itiveness to it, and you just got to find a way. And so. We didn't flinch when we were, down by that margin, and we were able to string some stops together. Our kind of that soft 2-2-1, press to 11, I thought got them a little more off attack, and I think it gave us some confidence. And then we were able to get loose in transition and got a couple big offensive boards there. Obviously, Gabe was really good tonight. I think he only had 3 points at halftime, and that's what you expect out of it. A senior to kind of. All right, guys, and I thought we did a better job getting him the ball, whether it was calling sets or just through playing, right, and finding him. We took better care of the ball in the second half than the first half. I mean, we had 19 turnovers, but 12 of them were in the first half. I mean, it was just that part of it was. But we just hung in there, and gave ourselves a chance. And, in this league, I don't care who you play or what the record is. You got to give yourself chances to win. And, I'm not going to say we're one stop away from winning because it probably would have forced overtime. But certainly I felt like we had a lot of the momentum, if we could have got to that overtime. But that's how it goes, man. You make the play or you don't. But I thought our guys had a good look, especially our starting 5. But you just can't. There was just a stretch there. It was like, what are we doing? So you got to be able to overcome that.
Coach, you mentioned starting the game shooting well, shooting 51% from the field. And you guys were attacking the paint a lot.
Yeah.
UCF is ranked near the bottom in Big 12 for defensive ranking. But what changed throughout the game that allowed UCF to capitalize on those turnovers?
Yeah, early on, we did. We got it inside. Lovering's a really good player. He's a really good passer. That first possession of the game, for example, went basically right to the 30-second, shot clock, and Lawson kind of hit a little jump hook. And we kept throwing it inside, and they were kind of bringing the double, and we were able to get some clean looks off of it. And then we went away from it, and we didn't handle their. I thought they ramped up the pressure. They got some momentum, right? And then when they create turnovers, now they get easy baskets, and they just feed. They love that. That's I mean, that's a big part of what they do is score off of creating turnovers. So we got a little bit disjointed that way, and we got to play with more poise and composure, in that time. And we were better in the second half, certainly. And then on the flip side of it, they did a good job. I mean, they had some guys make some. I mean, Chum, some of the shots, we all know he can stretch you out a little bit. Makes his first shot, which is a 3. They got loose on the offensive glass. Too many offensive boards that we gave up. And, you got to be able to eliminate losing when you're on the road. You got to defend, you got to rebound, you got to take care of the ball.
Darius Johnson obviously gets off the dribble penetration, hits the reverse layup. But then you guys still have a couple seconds to maybe get a possession going. What happened on the inbounds? Like, take me through what you saw.
Well, first of all, they called the timeout with 7 seconds to go. We had played a lot of zone there up to that point down the stretch, right? So you go man zone, and we decided to go man. It was just a simple high ball screen, easy switch like we've been switching all night. And they put, Johnson and Hall in a 2-man game, so to speak. And, what happens to a lot of teams in that point, guys don't want to get scored on. So you got to play great team defense. And just rewatching the clip, we let Johnson get to his right hand. He is lethal to that hand. And we had done a pretty good job making him go the other way most of the night. And so we made a mistake there, and then we kind of hugged our guy. And so then it goes through, and it looked like to me Ezra just kind of got it and just threw it as fast as he could to the open guy, which is, I think he was throwing to Gabe, and it didn't look like it was a very good pass. I don't think Gabe was probably expecting it, either. And so you got to be able to have poise and composure there and at least get some sort of shot up, maybe a half-court shot. You got to get something, right? And maybe a miracle happens, but that's the worst thing you can have happen is just throw it away. And, for all intents and purposes, now it's a real miracle has to happen.
Coach, we talked about how this was a UCF team kind of struggling defensively. What made it so hard for your team on the offensive side of the ball to kind of get over the hump?
Yeah, well, first of all, UCF's a really talented team now. They've been in almost every game. Obviously, when you lose 7 in a row, it's not what you want to go through. But, it's a flip of the coin. Like, part of me is just like, well, we were incredibly, when you look at the shooting numbers, like, we were super, super efficient. Like, I mean, shoot 52% on the road, 51.5% on the road, that's hard to do. It's really hard to do. I thought our guys really looked for the open man, did some very good things that way. It was just the stretch where, we just had all these turnovers, and it just looked like, you can overthink this thing, but it's simple basketball, right? When teams are getting into you and teams are you see a guy open, pass to the guy that's open. You can't play hero ball, right? And so you got to be able to play with poise and composure. And it's game 27 today? Is that right? Game 27 today. So we've been through the Big 12 now. Right, we've played Houston, you play Iowa State, you play, Kansas, you play. So you've seen every style of play, and we've been doing a way better job of taking care of the ball. It has been a bit of an Achilles heel for us at times, but we've really taken steps forward that way, but it reared its ugly head tonight.
Coach, you talked about your own bench scoring problems tonight. Yeah. Obviously, UCF has kind of shifted around their lineup. They moved Debo and Jordan Ivy Curry to the bench.
Yep.
And they outscore you 33-4 off the bench tonight.
Yeah.
Was that really a big factor in this game, having those guys off the bench?
It takes everybody, right? It takes a team. It's team. Basketball's a team game. Obviously, you got to play 5 at a time. Our bench has been very good this year, and tonight, I don't know this for a fact, but I would venture to say this was our worst performance from our bench on the season. In every facet, scoring output, defensive, right, mentality, rebounding, all of that. I mean, just if you look at the plus minus isn't always everything, but if you just look at the plus minus, I mean, every guy, our starting 5 plus Zach Keller were all positive, right? And then you go to the other 4 guys, and the minus discrepancy is very, very strong. And so our bench has been good this year, but certainly not tonight.
I asked this of Gabe earlier. I know the results haven't been there, but how do you feel like your team is adjusting now to the travel and sort of the the unusual nature of the realigned Big 12?
Yeah, this is our first year in the Big 12, so it's kind of what we know, right? But it is different. Like when you're, it's on a direct flight, it's 5 hours to get here or whatever, but that's just part of it. Everybody's got to travel. Everybody's got to go through it. We don't really talk about it. We just kind of give our guys the itinerary, try to set it up the best that we can, adapt to time zones. It's life on the road. Everybody's got to play on the road. We've been really good at home, right? So teams have to adjust to us when they come to our place. And so it works both ways. The bottom line is to win on the road. In the Big 12, it's an unbelievable league. I'm so jacked to be a part of the Big 12. It's a high-level basketball. You got to show up every night. Right? You're playing usually every 3 days, maybe 4 days. This was a little longer break for us because our last game was on Monday. But you got to have a great competitive spirit. You got to be physically strong. You got to be mentally strong. And embrace the travel, embrace the competition, embrace all that, the Big 12 brings to the table.
All right, just talk us through that final part of the game. UCF, I know they were up by 11. I think around the 6-minute mark, you guys really, rallied to tie the game late. What kind of worked for you to make it a game at the very end?
Yeah, I mean, we just kept saying it's going to be 40 minutes, and we switched to zone, and it ended up working in our favor. Got some stops, and just kept playing until the end.
This is a UCF team coming off of a 7-game losing streak, obviously playing hungry. What did you see out of them tonight?
Yeah, I mean, we knew all week coming in that they're just a talented team that's maybe struggled to get some wins, but they've been in a lot of close ones. So, yeah, we emphasized that, and obviously just didn't do what it takes on the road. Can't turn it over 19 times. So.
Open the game up. You guys were up 15-4. Seemed like you were taking advantage of some defensive lapses, and then they started getting really aggressive on the closeouts, active hands, turning 12 of your turnovers into a 16-2 run. Just kind of take me through what you guys were seeing when they ramped up their physicality.
Yeah, I mean, they just, they're a talented team. They're athletic, and we knew that they try to make the game a little hectic for you. And like I said, that's something we talked about all week. And yeah, just can't have 19 turnovers. That's just not going to do it on the road.
What was the difference between the Utah team that came off those 2 big wins and now the Utah team that played here tonight?
Turnovers. I mean, that's something we emphasized. I think it was like 7 turnovers against Kansas, 13 against Kansas State, and whatever I think it was like 10 game prior to that. So it's been a little bit of an issue for us here and there, and yeah, we just got to value the ball. It's hard to score when you turn the ball over, and I think we shot a really high percentage, and so you just do the math on those. You limit the turnovers, cut them in half, and it's a different game. So.
You guys tied up with that big 3. UCF calls timeout. What did you expect them to do? Obviously, Darius Johnson, the point guard, lays it up there. What did you expect to happen?
Yeah, I mean, we knew they were just going to try and get downhill, probably try to get a foul maybe or something. But yeah, I didn't really see the whole play. I was kind of in the corner, and I saw the switch happen, get downhill, and yeah, just tough bucket.
I know the results haven't been there for your team, but how have you guys started to become more accustomed to the travel of this league? I know it's 2,000 miles from home.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was, we left a day early for this one just because it's, 2 time zone difference. So travel wasn't too bad, though. I mean, can't really make an excuse out of it. Every team's got to do it. So, yeah.
Has it been kind of like what you expected or tougher than expected for the course of the season?
No, I wouldn't say so. I mean, I didn't know what to expect coming in. Just Pac-12 was 2-game road trips every time, and that was, different in its own right. And this one was just, yeah, further away, but you're only gone for a day usually, so it is what it is. Yeah.
Following that driving layup by Darius with 2 seconds left, you guys obviously had the turnover on the inbounds. How important is it to stay mentally locked in those situations?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, that play was, I don't even really know what happened. I was kind of trying to curve back in, and I think Ezra thought I was trying to go back out the other way, and yeah, just kind of a mental lapse there, and those can't happen in that situation because who knows what happens. 3 seconds, I think, on the clock, and yeah, who knows what would have happened, but just gotta lock in on that final moments.
The first 3-pointer on the first from both sides came in the middle of the second half. I mean, you guys were attacking the paint really well. What did you see down low?
In the paint?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we just always try to emphasize getting it down low, and I think that usually is a good thing for us, if they're trying to double or whatnot. So, Try to keep emphasizing that, and yeah, I think that's how we started out the game. Well, was getting it down low a little bit, and then I think we got away from it a little bit, and I think we had some turnovers just off of ball screens and whatnot in the middle of the paint, and yeah, usually just good stuff happens, so we try to emphasize that all the time.
Coming from the Pac-12,
Yeah.
how is the Big 12 different? I know you guys have had some big
Yeah.
wins coming off, particularly against the Kansas schools.
Yeah, I mean it's it's a unique conference. It's we always knew it was going to be more physical a little bit. That's kind of what we heard coming in from our coaches all summer, and it has been for sure. But yeah, I would say like every night you're getting a chance to play against really good teams, and Pac-12 is different in its own right, different kind of play, maybe a little more fast-paced, a little more skill-oriented, I guess you could say, just more pace and space. And I think this one's a little bit more just physical, get it down low, rebound, all that stuff. So we knew coming in that it was going to be like that. That's something we've always emphasized at Utah, and so yeah, no excuses there.
Yeah. You had 23 on the day, shot it efficiently from deep. Talk about your game, what you liked out there.
Yeah, I mean it's been an up and down year for me. So I'm just trying to take what the defense gives me. Sometimes they try to take me out of it. That's how it started a little bit. They were kind of into my chest to start, and so I didn't get many shots in the first half, but just kept trying to, cut and go off screens and whatnot, and just take what they give me, and was able to knock down some shots. So,
You guys are coming to the final stretch of the season, just a few games left. What do you hope to improve upon, and how do you hope to finish off?
I mean, it's a long season, and that's obviously a really frustrating one. You can't, in our position, drop games like that sometimes, and so just gotta, come back ready to get better. I mean, we have a great opportunity in Arizona, great team, obviously top 20 team right now, and so yeah, just every day you gotta come in. The season's gonna be over before you know it, so you just can't take any day for granted, especially me as a senior. So just come in, keep trying to get better, and yeah, great opportunity coming up.